So, thank you very much for joining. Yesterday, we were discussing about the forest of mental enjoyment, the allegorical story presented by our Brahmana Bharata. And having heard that, expressing his gratitude, King Rahugana expressed that Aho Nru Janma Kila Janma Shobhanam Kim Janma Bistu Aparair Api Amushmin Nayad Rishikesha Yesha Kritatmanam Mahatmanam Va Prachu Samagama. Basically says that attaining human birth is very auspicious because in human birth one will have the great opportunity of associating great devotees wherein they can get to hear about the Supreme Lord. Other places it is not at all possible. What is so special about the devotees? Nahi adbhutam tvat charanabja renubir hatam haso bhakti radokshaje male mahurtikad yasya samagamachame dustarka mulo aphato viveka. See, a movement association, one muhurta's association with you, their discussion might have been about 48 minutes, has transformed me completely. Then what to speak of continued association with a great devotee? What benefit one can attain? This is the greatness of great devotees. So like that, he glorifies. Namo mahadbhyostu namo shishubhyo namo yuvobhyo namo avatubhya ye brahmana gam avaduta lingas charanti tebhya shivamastu rajnam. He said that unknowingly I have committed an offense at you. Like you, we don't know who are all the great devotees. The great devotees may be like Shishus, maybe like your boys, youth, Avadutas, whoever it may be. Let me offer obeisance to all the great devotees in whichever form they are on behalf of all the Kshatriyas, so that none of the Kshatriyas will have misfortune. In advance only, I will offer respects and beg forgiveness. Even knowingly, unknowingly, some Kshatriyas commit an offense against any sadhu, let it be forgiven. So like that. So he is praying for not only for his own welfare, but the welfare of all the Kshatriyas. This is the transformation in King Rahugana. Now the conversation is between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj is thinking like this: oh, King Rahugana was so fortunate. Though he offended Bharata, Brahmana Bharata, Parikshit Maharaj also offended Brahmana. So though King Rahugana offended Brahmana Bharata by making him carry the palanquin, he was showered in the nectar of mercy and became successful. I am most unfortunate, not being forgiven for the offense of placing a dead snake on the neck of a Brahmana. I have been burned by the poison of his curse. What dark hell I will attain. Sukadeva Goswami pacifies the lamenting Parikshit Maharaj. So he's saying that. So he was forgiven by the Brahmana, and more than that, he was blessed by the Brahmana with the transcendental knowledge. But I did not have any opportunity to go and beg forgiveness. Because Gaurmukha came and told, you don't have to come. He did not take it often seriously, but his son pronounced a curse. So you prepare for your death. So in 7 days, I am going to be burnt by the snake. What kind of hell I am going to attain because of my offense towards a Brahmana? Now Sukadeva Goswami pacifies, no, my dear king, don't think like that. You are more fortunate than King Rahugana. So like that they will say. Read the translation. Here.
Shukdev Goswami said, O Parikshit, the Brahmana Jada Bharata, having the highest realization, though insulted by the king, out of the great mercy, instructed the king on spiritual matters. Having been worshipped by the king, with his tears of regret, his heart became as quiet as the full ocean. After the agitation of the waves of his senses had been calmed, and he again wandered the earth.
Out of great mercy, instructed the king on spiritual matters. Having been worshipped by the king, with his tears of regret, his heart became as quiet as full ocean. You see, having been worshipped by the king with his tears of regret, his heart, Brahmana Bharata's heart became as quiet as full ocean after the agitation of the waves of his senses had been calmed, and he again wandered the earth. He did not take offense seriously, but he accepted the worship of King Rahugana, and then he did not speak anything more, and he walked out calmly.
Here the focus is not to actually showcase or show the agitation of the waves of his senses. It is not for that. Rather, it is to actually, even if it happens like that, mercy is actually there to pacify. It is to focus on that as well. Because we understand he's already on a Brahman realized platform.
Yes, yes.
So for him,
So he's just
there is no
comparing.
limitation.
He is comparing with Parikshit Maharaj's condition. Parikshit Maharaj, for whatever you did, the Brahmanas became angry. Brahmana's son became angry and cursed you. He was agitated. So if you compare like that, he apparently seems that he also spoke back and counter-argued and established highest philosophy, all these things. It is, from one point of view, it is as if to establish oneself. Okay, that is kind of retaliating the mistake what the king did. So, but being worshipped by the king, he went out calmly. Matlab, he did not take offense seriously now. He countered the king and he pleased the king and he left. So like that. So he's telling like that. So even though apparently it appears that the Brahmana Bharata took the criticism of the king seriously. He felt offended, something like that, but eventually became pacified. Similarly, in your case also, apparently Shrungi took it seriously. After cursing, he also felt remorse. So you don't have to worry so much. Don't worry that you will have to go to hell for offending a Brahman like that. He did not take offense seriously like that. Out of the spur of the moment, Shrungi might have cursed, pronounced a curse. But anyway, afterwards, Kaushamika Rishi consoled him and the son understood and everything. Both the son and father did not take your act of putting a snake across his neck seriously. Instead of telling that, he is telling this. Where Parikshit Maharaj comparing this, he is thinking about himself like that. So here, the Brahmana satisfied. Brahmana pleased. There also Brahmana is pleased. Brahmanas don't take seriously. In that way, is indicating. Maybe out of spur of the moment, they might say something, but in long run, they don't keep that grudging mentality continuously. So like that. O King Parikshit, whose mother was Uttara Mata, the Lord entered into your mother's womb personally and protected you. He showed his farm to you, even in the womb. He showed his farm to you, even in the womb of your mother. The Lord, sending sages like Narada and myself to protect you from Brahmana's curse, has brought us to you and has nullified the curse by sprinkling you with unprecedented mercy of the sages and making you drink the nectar of Bhagavatam through me. Kindly see this. This shows that you have greater fortune than King Rahugana, than Bharata, than myself, than anyone else, and greater fortune than the great sages. Therefore, why do you lament? Don't lament. Brahmanas never take offenses seriously. They may become angry for the moment, but afterward they become pacified on their own. Instead, the Supreme Lord, who is the Namo Brahmanya Deva, the worshipful Lord of the Brahmanas, whose heart is the Brahmanas, also did not take the offense seriously. The reason is, he had sent Narada Muni and myself to you. He allowed me to speak Bhagavatam to you for 7 days. Though I don't stay at the house of any householder for the time required for milking a cow, but I stayed here for 7 days. That itself is called as mercy of the Supreme Lord. That means even the Lord did not take seriously the offense you committed to Brahmanas. The Brahmana did not take it seriously, Lord also did not take seriously. So there is no offense on your part. Don't take it seriously. So like that. Though he was scolded, Bharata had the highest realization. He taught about the spirit to the king Rahugana. Sakarunam means with tears. His heart had waves of the senses which were calmed. At the end, when Rahugana was saying that, let me offer obeisance to the small shishus, boys, and everyone, wherever they are, all the avadutas, on behalf of all the Kshatriya community. Now Brahmana understood. He is no more identifying himself as the Kshatriya. He is identifying himself as the servant of devotees. So in that way, it's like that. So then, having understood from Jada Bharata, having understood from Brahmana Bharata about the nature of Paramatma, King Rahugana gave up the concept of the body as the self, superimposed on the self by ignorance. O king, this is the result of taking shelter of a devotee. King Rahugana gave up the concept of the body as the self. Concept of the body as the self. Canto 1, chapter 7, text number 5. Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a book called Srimad Bhagavatam. Out of 12 canto, there is one canto, canto 1. Chapter 7, text number 5. Huh? What is there in that? Eya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam. Being bewildered by that Maya who is standing behind Lord Krishna, the living entities here, they consider themselves to be the byproduct of Maya. That means they consider themselves to be the body. Atmanam trigunatmakam. They consider themselves to be the object made up of three gunas. That has been removed by the teachings of Brahmana Bharata. Sujana refers to Bharata. Atmani means in oneself. He gave up the conception that the body is the self, which is assumed by beginningless ignorance in the self. King Rahugana took shelter of the devotee Bharata, who took shelter of the Lord, Bhagavad Ashrita. So, in that way. Then our Parikshit Maharaj says now, this is the question connection to the next chapter. Oh great devotee, you have described with symbolic words the material existence of the Jiva. This allegorical presentation for a person with refined intellect cannot be easily understood. This allegorical presentation, even for a person with refined intellect, cannot be easily understood by experienced persons. Therefore, you should explain this presentation, which is very difficult to understand, using suitable examples. Please explain the allegorical story of the Bhavatavi, which is very difficult to understand even for the intellectual people. So then what to speak of ordinary people? For the benefit of ordinary people and intellectual people, please explain the meaning of the story. So like
स्टोरी ऐसा तो ऑलमोस्ट क्लियर ही था नहीं.
हमने मीनिंग पढ़ाया था इसलिए क्लियर था. अब स्टोरी पढ़ते रहो, क्लियर नहीं रहेगा. Just in the per part in the notes we read what is the meaning of this, what is the meaning of that. So it's like that. तो बड़ा इंटेलिजेंट वाला है. परीक्षित महाराज को समझ में नहीं आया.
शिला प्रभुपाद ने भी परफेक्ट में दिया है.
वही है, पर पार्ट नहीं देगा तो
ट्रांसलेशन में दिया है.
हाँ, ट्रांसलेशन में दिया प्रभुपाद. If you just take the little translation, the import is not clear. Story may appears to be clear, but what is the import of the story, that may not be that clear. The subject in which six plunderers are the senses and the jackals are the children was produced by the greatest intelligence. It is hard to understand because examples are given. Suitable examples should be given. So the six plunderers story में था, वो six senses का कौन बताएगा आपको? And jackals are there. They are compared to children and wife. Who will tell that?
ऐसा तो शिला अगर अगर लिटरली ऐसा ट्रांसलेशन में गए तो उधर सिर्फ सिक्स प्लंडरर्स है और ये है, लेकिन प्रभुपाद ने पूरा वो दिया है.
प्रभुपाद ने दिया because the next chapter is told. Referring to the next chapter, it is given in the advance only.
Okay.
They did not give on their own. The next chapter में सब आया था, उसको रेफर करके पहले दिया. So that is about chapter 13. Then chapter 14 gives the meaning of the allegorical story. In the 14th chapter, the characters of the story, like the plunderers and the jackals, are explained to be the six senses and one's family members, etc., etc., etc. That is all will be mentioned in the next chapter. This is a big chapter. Matlab, so this one verse is the explanation of this verse. This verse are explanation of this one, like that, like that, like that.
This is like everything in one shot. Index लग रहा है Prabhuji.
Huh?
Index लग रहा है.
Oh, yeah, na comparison should be there, na, which is explaining where. What is explaining which verse?
ऐसा लग रहा है.
So it is like that. Read the translation.
The jiva using the
Louder.
door, the jiva using the doors of the six senses wanders around in samsara, having walked along the difficult road belonging to persons who identify with the body, with many obstructions experiencing samsara, with beginning less happiness and distress, arising from accepting and rejecting a series of various bodies, produced by performing auspicious or inauspicious acts, which are divided according to particular.
Now it is again is a different story. Here characters are different. So it's like that. The jiva using the doors of the six senses. Again, Puranjana story. The two eyes are the doors. There are five doors in the eastern side, one door in the south, one door in the north, two doors to the west. Are west, na? Same. Their senses are called doors. Same way, same concept. The jiva using the doors of the six senses wanders in the samsara, having walked along the difficult road, belonging to persons who identify with the body, with many obstructions, experiencing samsara with beginningless happiness and distress, arising from accepting and rejecting. Ichadrisha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata. Then
मनुष्य
कौन सा चैप्टर से कहाँ जा रहे हैं? Accepting, arising from acceptance and rejecting, a series of various bodies produced by performance of auspicious and inauspicious acts, which are divided according to the three gunas. So here there is a philosophical point is there. Kindly pay attention. The jiva going into the forest of samsara, even today, has not attained the devotees who, like bees, are attracted to the worship of the lotus feet of a guru, a form of the Lord. In the chapter, in the previous chapter, the traveler is not has come to association devotees. इधर उधर जा रहे, ये साधु के पास, वो साधु के पास, इनके पास, ये गुरु वो गुरु जा रहे, बट डिवोटी के पास नहीं आया. जब one comes to devotee, one's life is changed. Coming means not just coming casually, coming and taking shelter. So one's life will be changed. There will be no more samsara. So that jiva who has not yet come to devotee is being described in the previous chapter. The jiva going into the forest of samsara, even today, not attend the devotees who, like bees, are attracted to the worship of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, who appears in the form of spiritual master. This means that without taking shelter of the feet of Guru, this means that without taking shelter of the feet of Sri Guru, one wanders around in samsara. One continues to move in samsara only if we don't take shelter of Guru. Having walked along the difficult road with many obstructions, experiencing samsara with beginningless happiness and distress, arising from accepting and rejecting a series of various bodies, produced by performing auspicious or inauspicious acts, which are divided according to the three gunas. The life of a materialist is happiness, distress, good, bad, friend, enemy, dualities only. But when it comes in the association of devotees, no friend, no enemy, no happiness, no distress. Samadukka sukam dira. Somrutatvaye kalpate. गीता भूल गए आप लोग. This is second chapter 15th verse. कब देर पुरुष बनेगा? The jiva, like a wealthy merchant, greedy for objects of enjoyment, though experiencing karmas produced by one's own body through the agency of Maya, controlled by the Lord, because Lord means Paramatma, while walking in the most inauspicious forest of samsara, which is similar to a crematorium. Samsara is compared to Samshan, Smashanavat, and performing useless actions which with many obstacles, even now does not attain the feet of the bumblebee like devotees, attracted to worshipping the Lord in the form of Guru. So it's like that. This lotus feet is capable of pacifying the miseries of samsara. The Guru's lotus feet, Lord's lotus feet, can pacify one's samsara. Nothing else can pacify one's samsara in this material world. Since samsara of the jiva is made up of Maya, the jiva should surrender to Maya Devi. Being pleased with him, she will free him from bondage. Since samsara of the jiva is made up of Maya, the jiva should surrender to Maya Devi. Being pleased with him, she will free him from bondage. Will ever happen? Will it ever happen like this?
This is Purva Paksha.
हाँ पूर्व पक्ष कभी होगा क्या? माया देवी आप मेरा माँ मैं आपको शरण में लूंगा. Maya will say that, yes my dear bacha, you are so obedient, you don't have to take shelter of me, you please go to Vaikuntha and take shelter of Lord, like that she will ever say. हाँ आ जाओ बच्चा, आ जाओ, आपके लिए मैं इंतजार कर रहा हूँ, आ जाओ, like that. Why should one surrender to Guru? But Maya is controlled by the Lord. She cannot independently award liberation. So by taking shelter of Maya, Maya will not give us liberation because Maya herself is not independent. She herself is controlled by the Lord. Bhagavad Gita says, Daivi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya Mamaya Prapatinte Maya Medam Taranti. My Maya made up of the gunas, fit for Jiva's pleasure, is hard to surpass. But those who surrender to me alone can cross over the Maya. Not by surrendering to Maya, but by surrendering to Krishna, one can deliver oneself. Like that. The use of the word Eva indicates that the Lord alone can deliver the Jiva. Mam Eva, but Lord alone, no one else. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Eva Kevalam. Hello. Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gadir, Anyataha. Something like that. Eva means in that way. The use of the word Eva indicates that the Lord alone can deliver the Jiva, nor the combination of the Lord and Maya. Performing many activities which are far fruitless and with many obstacles, the Jiva does not attain devotees. So it is like that. Last line is very important. Performing many duties which are fruitless. Like that. In that forest, the thieves are the six senses. Just as the thieves plunder a man's wealth, which is meant for service of the Lord. The wealth is actually meant for service of the Lord. Parama Purusha Aradhana Lakshano. Okay, able to follow? In that forest, the thieves are the six senses. Just as thieves plunder a man's wealth, which is meant for service of the Lord, and has been attained with great difficulty by rightful means, and just as thieves plunder the wealth of a merchant who is without proper intelligence and has uncontrolled senses, so the senses by their actions of enjoying, seeing, touching, hearing, tasting, and smelling, thinking, and deciding things related to the sense gratification plunder one's wealth. Wealth means one's time, energy, all these things, even wealth also. Seeing, touching, hearing, tasting, smelling, and thinking. Thinking is about the mind, ahankara, etc. They come into the role in the team. This verse explains SB 513.2. The six plunderers are the six senses. So in that way. Just as thieves plunder a man's wealth meant for dharma, attained with great difficulty, the six senses steal the wealth of a man with uncontrolled senses by actions of seeing and touching. The wealth is meant for service of the Lord and for the next world. Sankalpa is the function of the mind. Vyavasaya or ascertainment is the function of intelligence. The senses plunder the wealth of the person with uncontrolled senses and with a bad intelligence, just like thieves plunder a place. Read the translation.
The family members such as wife and children, by their actions, are like wolves and jackals. Just as the wolves steal the protected sheep, the family members steal the wealth protected by the miserly husband. As he looks on, though he does not want to part with it.
Very strong. This verse explains the meaning of the jackals. Who are the jackals? The family members, such as wife and children, by their actions, are like wolves and jackals. If they are obedient, they are not like that. If they are not obedient, they are only consuming. Such kind of people are considered to be wolves and jackals. From the spiritual point of view, if other family members are also helping the head of the family in executing devotional service, then they are not jackals. If they are not assisting in executing devotional service, in that case, it is considered to be jackals.
In the modern context now, when both the people are earning, then also this analogy holds true. Because now both are earning. It's not
Children are there ना, children consumers are there, children are consumers only ना. अभी देखो children के लिए earn करना पड़ता है ना अभी. They have to give up so much time to earn a lot of money so that they can pay the school fees, college fees. उनको लिए कर रहे हैं ना. It's in one sense they are not demanding. The parents only spending, for which they are working hard, giving away their time, which can be used for spiritual activities. So like that. Just as the wolf steals the protected sheep, the family member steals the wealth protected by the miserly husband, as he looks on, though he does not want to part with it. The family members steal the wealth protected by man with the logic, you should protect us by supplying food and clothing. They steal, saying that it is your duty to provide us food and clothing. Today we want to order diamond rings or whatever, Zomato, this, that, all these things. Here, एक family चल रहा है, उधर दूसरा family चल रहा है. The object of the verb Swartikam, referring to his collection of food, ghee and sugar, mentioned in 513.2. Of the two, the plunderers in the form of the senses are more difficult to control than the jackals of family members. There are 6 plunderers and there are jackals. Both are chilling. But the plunderers steal, they loot everything. The jackals are at least they are considerate. इतना ही काफी काफी, बाकी ज्यादा जरूरत नहीं, इतना ही चाहिए बस। आजकल सिर्फ डायमंड रिंग चाहिए बस, ज्यादा नहीं। But plunderers, they loot everything, they even kill also. So it's like that. Just has unburned seeds from weeds, though prolonged under every year, again spring up as a thicket. That means in the forest, there are so many weeds will be there. They will also have seeds. When there is a forest fire, some of the seeds are not burned. They go into the cracks of the earth. They'll be there only. They are not burnt completely. When there is rain again, they will come up into a big tree. So in that way. Again spring up as a thicket of bushes, grass and creepers. After sowing seeds, the household is the field of action, in which the actions do not cease, since the household is a storehouse of desires. So one plant coming up or burning the tree, that means it is gone forever. Nothing like that. In household, after doing one action, there is a new action comes. Then new action comes. The parents always worried about children's marriage. After marriage is over, then they are worried about grandchildren. When the grandchildren comes, there are so many set of festivals. ये होना चाहिए, उसके बाद ये, उसके बाद ये, उसके बाद ये. There is no end to the household activities. It goes on everlasting, eternally. So it's like that. This verse describes the dense thicket of creepers, grass, and bushes, which are there in the forest, which are visible at the traveler going on the way. Actions does not disappear, since the household is a storehouse of desires. ये भी चाहिए, वो भी चाहिए, वो भी चाहिए, वो भी चाहिए. There is no end to the desires. Just as a part in which the hing has disappeared, still the smell of hing activities are not disappeared, since the impressions remain. If you put hing in one vessel, hing is taken out, but the smell does not go away. Smell always remains. Same way, even though some activities are completed, for example, we want to construct a home. Home construction is over, but there is a desire. ये छोटा पड़ गया, और एक फ्लोर चाहिए, और एक फ्लोर चाहिए. इधर एक घर है, गांव में एक घर है, हैदराबाद में एक सिटी में भी एक घर चाहिए. There is no end to the desire. So it's like that. हाँ, आके खोल दिया. आप लोग तो ब्रह्मचारी बन गए सब छोड़ के. Holding on to this wealth like this very life, the jiva is afflicted by low class men who are like the biting mosquitoes, and and by the thieves who are like the locusts, vultures, and rats. Sometimes on the path in the forest, while reflecting, he has a false vision of his unattained kingdom, which is like a Gandharva city, produced by his mind, tinged with action, lust, and ignorance. When people have so many desires which they cannot fulfill, they have dreams. In the dreams, they fulfill those desires. That is what happens. The jiva who takes wealth as his life, Bahiprana, is afflicted by low class men who are like the biting mosquitoes. The city of Gandharvas is explained then. Afflicted by the low class men means, so a person who has wealth, the people who are near and nearby, they always criticize, they always send false rumors, they always eye on this person, how to bring him down. It's like that. Then the city of Gandharvas is explained. Sometimes while deliberating with illusory vision, he sees a Gandharva city, which refers to his wealth desired by worship, such as becoming a king, which he had not attained. In the case of Shastra, we are discussing stories about kings. Somebody want to become the monarch, king of the this province, that province. He will not become, but in a dream he will become. So like that. This arises because of his mind is attained, his mind is tainted by actions, lust, and ignorance. Seeing the Gandharva city means seeing something other than what actually exists. Dream. In a dream, he thinks that, okay, I have become the king of entire Bhumandala, something like that. In that city, full of desires, addicted to drinking, eating, and sex life, he chases after sense objects like a mirage of water. What does he do in the Gandharva city? He simply after eating, meeting, and merrymaking. So like that. Sometimes, when his mind becomes absorbed in gold, which is the stool of Agni. Gold is considered to be stool of Agni. Purisha Vishesham Nirmitamati. Purisha Vishesham. Stool of a gold. Stool of gold. Purisha Vishesham means gold, stool of gold.
Wait, but it is actually the stool of Agni.
Stool of Agni, yeah. Gold. What is the color of gold? What is the color of fire? Huh? बस हो गए. Shastra calls it a stool of Agni so that we become detached from it. So in that way.
You should not take this as like technically it has formed in that way. It is actually
It appears, it represents like the stool of gold.
To actually avoid the detachment.
So stool of Agni. If Agni is a person, if Agni discharges the stool, that is a gold. Like that. The gold should be treated like that. Stool is not touchable. Stool is untouchable. So gold should be treated as untouchable. So like that. Metaphorical. And it is the color of Rajoguna, which is the source of unlimited falls. He desires to possess gold, just as a person suffering from cold desires fire. Chases after a glowing ghost. Currently, we are suffering from cold. We need some warmth. Same thing. The Jiva's mind is absorbed in the stool of Agni or gold, which is reddish, the color of Rajoguna. He desires to take others' possessions, represented by gold. If one does not have oneself gold, he eyes upon the gold of others. So like that. Others' property. He desires to go to hell. This is like a person who wandering in the forest anxious for fire to relieve himself of cold, chases after a glow of ghost, thinking it to be fire. He does this till he dies. So in the forest, person feeling cold, he wanted warmth. There are fireflies. He thinks that this is fire. So he chases after that. If I go and touch that firefly, I'll get warmth. But that will it happen ever? That the firefly will give warmth. So he will keep trying to find out something like that till the time of death. And eventually he'll go to hell after death. So like that. So basically, he is looking for warmth. Means he is looking for the wealth of others. And is making so many plans to steal others' wealth. He may get, he may not get. But eventually he will go to hell at the end of this life. Because he eyed upon the other's property. So like that. Sometimes absorbed in maintaining himself with various items such as a house, water, and wealth, he runs here and there in the forest of samsara. So forest mein all these things won't be there. Forest you might have trees, you might have gufa. He goes to one day one tree, next day next tree. Water also not there everywhere. He has to go from this river, that river, here and there, etc. These are all common problems for everyone. Sometimes he places on his lap a beautiful woman like a whirlwind, and by the impulse of passion, like dust, ignoring the rules of good conduct, his intelligence becomes blinded by passion, like getting dust in his eyes, and he cannot recognize the devatas of the directions who are witnessing and have become invisible to him. That means the person becoming passionate goes after woman, ignoring that the Dig Devatas are watching him. He engages in illicit activities. So, like that. This verse explains the whirlwind. Having a woman on his lap is like being afflicted by whirlwind. His vision is covered by the impulse of passion, like being covered by dust. His intelligence becomes blinded by lust, and he does not recognize the devatas of the direction, such as the sun and fire, who witnesses, who have become invisible, Rajani Bhuta. Because his eyes are covered by lust, he can't see the devatas who are looking at him when he is engaging in illicit activities. So, in that way. Later in the sixth canto, in the Ajamil section, we'll see there are 13 witnesses for every activity that we do. The Panchamahabhutas, the 8 directions, sun, moon, fire, Yamaraj, Paramatma. So, like that, there are different witnesses for all our activities. Though at one time, realizing the futility of sense objects because his memory has been destroyed by absorption in his body, he continuously runs after sense objects, which are like a mirage of water. Though sometimes he may think that hey, this sense gratification is useless, but immediately the attachment to another sense object will pull him away and drags him down and pulls him to ocean of metal existence. Sometimes the events are described in order and sometimes not in sequence. Sometimes there is repetition, but one should not ignore the explanation. It is not possible to make all the roads in the forest straight. Forest may every road is not straight. Therefore, giving up one's own sense of pride, things should be explained as they are in the text. So one should not say that why Bhagavatam is going here and there oppositely. They should go explain everything in sequence. It will not happen. Just go with the mood of the Bhagavatam. So like that. One time the person realizes futility of sense enjoyment, but he repeatedly runs after sense objects like a mirage of water because his memory is destroyed by absorption in the body. Even though one gets the understanding that sense gratification is useless, but that understanding does not stay for a long time. It will be diverted by impulse of the sense objects. He will run after sense objects again. Sometimes the ears and heart are pained by the scolding of government officials or enemies, directly or indirectly, who use arrogant words arising from their severe enthusiasm. This is like the sound of owls and crickets. Cricket we can't see, but it makes sound unbearable. Owls we see, and their sound also unbearable. So like that, that is indicated here. This verse explains the sound of crickets. He becomes pained by the scoldings of government officials, having pride arising from harsh enthusiasm. Government officials are compared to crickets because we don't have any sambandha with them. So, but still, they keep scolding us. So it's like that. Or keep taxing us. So like that. When his pious grades are exhausted, he approaches wealthy men for begging. The living dead. Wealthy men are called as Jivan Mruto, the living dead. They are wealthy because they have not done charities. If a person gives charities, he will not remain wealthy. So a wealthy person who never does charities is called as Jivan Mruta. Without goals in his life, in this life and the next, who are like impious trees and creepers, such as Karaskara and Kakatuda, are like poisoned wells. So it's like that. The Jiva has used up all his pious results by enjoyment. Karaskara is a poisonous herb. Wealthy men without goals in this life or in the next are like the impious trees, similar to creepers, are poisonous wells. The people with wealth, if they don't have proper goal in life, they are compared to poisonous trees. A tree is meant to give some fruits, but a poisonous tree also will give poisonous fruits, but they are poisonous. They are not good for consumption. So in that way, a miserly wealthy person does not give any charity. Like that, it is understandable. Once after his intelligence has been cheated by materialists, he approaches impostors who give only suffering in this life and in the next life, like jumping into a dry riverbed and breaking one's head. After his intelligence cheated by association with the materialists, he falls into dry river beds and breaks his head. Later later he comes to his senses. The material impostors give suffering in this life and in the next life also. Impostors means the so-called gurus. When he cannot support himself by giving pain to others, he gives trouble to his father or son, whom he regards as insignificant. When one cannot support oneself, he will shout at the parents, मेरा मेरा ही नहीं हो रहा, आपको क्या देखेंगे, अब जाओ, आपका आपको देख लो. And when son comes asking for father today I have to pay fees, कुछ नहीं, चलो जाओ, पढ़ाई गिड़े कुछ करने का नहीं, जाओ. So like that. When he does not have food by a livelihood that gives pain to others, he gives trouble to his father or son, which are insignificant like kusha grass, by bringing troops from the king's gate to harass them. So it's like that. See, when he does not have food by a livelihood, but he has nothing to do to earn for livelihood, that gives pain to others. It causes pain to the parents and children. How? He gives trouble to his father or son, which are insignificant like kusha grass, by bringing troops from the king's gate to harass them. So the understanding is he gives trouble to his father or son, whom he regards as insignificant. So which are insignificant like the kusha grass, by bringing troops from the king's gate to harass them. So the understanding is that, so I'm thinking like this. He considers the fathers, the parents and children like the kusha grass, which is there on the pathway. So by bringing the soldiers, huge army when it comes, when they're walking, what happens to kusha grass? They are trampled upon. They become disheveled and they are destroyed. So something like that. So maybe in this current case, when he throws them out of the home, just like one throws the kusha grass out of the home, and they are trampled by all the people. So like that. They are exploited or scolded by other people, something like that. Sometimes he enters the house, which is like a forest fire, devoid of pleasing objects, and ending in suffering, and burned by the fire of lamentation, becomes greatly depressed. So sometimes he enters the house, which is like the forest fire, devoid of pleasing objects. The other case, in the previous one is that he throws out the parents and children. In the other case, when he comes home, the family members will harass him. In another example, the family members harass the manager, the head of the family, that you are not taking care of properly, you are not earning sufficient amount of money, you are not providing this, you are not providing that, you are not getting this, you are not getting that. So thus, devoid of pleasing objects and ending in suffering and burned by the fire of lamentation, becomes greatly depressed. If everyone in the family is continuously criticizing him, what will happen to that person? Misery only, no? That is what. When his wealth, dear as life, is stolen by government officials who are like Rakshasas, made by crooked time, he appears dead without symptoms of life. When government officials come for income tax raiding, what they will do? They seize everything. Then the person is as good as dead. Because the person, those people who see their life in the money, when the money is taken out, taken away by somebody else, they think that they are dead. Even though they are alive physically, but money is gone. So their life is gone. They have given their life for money only. They have earned a lot of money by hard working and they stored it. And somebody else come and take it. Their life is gone. All their life savings are gone. They consider that they are dead. He loses all sense of life, such as joy, or he faints from lamentation. He will not be happy anymore after the wealth is gone. He always worried about the wealth gone like that. Actually, it is real. When somebody stores some money after working very hard, and his whole life is after that only. If somebody takes it away, he's gone. He can't live any more peaceful life. One of our relatives died like that recently during lockdown.
Because of the panic.
Because of the attachment. Sometimes he experiences the happiness of a dream out of strong desire, thinking that his dead father or grandfather has appeared. कभी कभी ड्रीम आता है उसमें सब आ जाते like in Gandharv sitting. Out of strong desire, thinking that his dead father has returned from the other world, he experienced the happiness in a dream. In a dream, he sees something which he does not see generally. He sees his dead father and grandfather, whom we can't see anymore now. But in the dream, we get to see them. They come to him saying that, my dear grandson, what are you doing? I'm with you, don't worry. So like they don't lament, like that they say. Desiring to take the responsibility for performing elaborate household sacrifices, like desiring to climb a mountain, and agitated by his neighbors' absorption in such things, like entering a place with thorns and gravels, he laments. He wants to perform sacrifice. Before he could do, his neighbor does. Lamentation. Because of comparison. Compare, complain, criticize. Cancer of the human being. Sometimes he becomes overburdened with the weight of performing karmas, such as wedding or our sacrifice, which are like wanting to climb to the top of a mountain. For a king, our sacrifice and all, but normally weddings, so many festivals will be there. His mind is attracted to the attachment his neighbor has for huge sacrifices. They are performing these big sacrifices. Why can't I do this as well? Thus, his mind becomes agitated. They performed their daughter's marriage in the so and so function hall. They spent so much money, they had 20 dishes. We should also do. There is always comparison. Always comparison. The life goes in comparison only. People can't live peacefully because of the comparison mentality. In spite of having sufficient things, they always compare others. What they have, it is actually needed. Just because they have, they can't live peacefully. Very miserable. Having lost all fortitude, all patience, by the intolerable fire of digestion in his body, sometimes he becomes angry at his family members. ये तो common चीज है, हमारा पास भी होता है. हाँ, होता है नहीं? हंगरी के टाइम पे कोई कुछ बोलेगा तो सुनते क्या? नहीं. Nirjala Ekadashi दिन morning hours, if somebody tells us go to the other and get the flowers, how it will be? I'll go after some time. After नींबू जूस के बाद भी जाता हूँ. नहीं नहीं, अभी जाने का. If he is a equal, how do you respond? If he is senior, how do you respond? Senior है तो अभी out of respect we may go. If the person is equal, क्या इतना भी समझ नहीं आता आपको? कल सुबह से फास्टिंग कर रहा हूँ, थोड़ा पानी पी के जाता हूँ, थोड़ा रुको ना, इतना जल्दी क्या? So it is like that. Hunger is intolerable. Swallowed by the python of sleep, absorbed in the deepest ignorance, he lies down in the deserted forest. Like a neglected dead body, he does not know anything. Hmm? Swallowed by the python of deep sleep. Sleep is compared to python. Absorbed in the deepest ignorance, he lies down in the deserted forest. Like a neglected dead body, he does not know anything. Yanisha Sarvabhutani Tasyam Jagrati Samyam. So that is what it is. That means he is ignorant of spiritual life. Sometimes his teeth of pride are broken by the bites of snakes in the form of evil men. Unable to sleep, his consciousness dwindling because of a troubled heart, he falls like a blind man into a blind well. When the evil men come and criticize, scold, do something, then one's pride is gone and one laments. He can't sleep. His heart is constantly troubled and he will become like a blind man, fall into blind well. One takes it so seriously because anyway the other people are evil people. They always want to pull you down, and taking their words seriously, one actually falls down. So it is like that. This is the issue in my family. Sometimes when searching for a drop of honey in the form of pleasure, he takes possessions of others' wives and properties. He is beaten by the king or the husband and falls into insurmountable hell. No. Sometimes when searching for a drop of honey in the form of pleasure, he takes possessions of others' wives and properties. He takes possession of others' wives. Matlab, he enjoys others' wife, considering them to be his own. He possesses others' wives as his own. Are you getting?
Illicit relationship.
Illicit relationship. He enjoys others' wives as if she is my wife. Something like that. And also others' properties. Like what do you call that? Kabja. So it's like that. But such kind of person is beaten by king here, or the husband of the wife, or by Yamaraj in the hell. But beating is sure. Some will get here, some will get in the hell. Some will get in the next life. Somewhere it will come. Therefore, the wise describe the cultivation of samsara for the living being in this world as karma of two types, pious and sinful. The wise people say that whatever karmas we do, they are either pious karmas or sinful karmas only. There is nothing like bhakti in that. Because of what has been said, they describe the world as karma of sinful and pious lives in this world. This world is nothing but the combination of vikarma and sakama karma. So like that. If he escapes from the punishment allotted by the husband, Devadatta then enjoy, and then Vishnumitra, that the situation is unstable.
These are Yamdutas, right?
Wait, what is the meaning? If he escaping the beating by the husband of the woman whom he enjoyed at the expense of bribes, he will enjoy the woman. Then another person called Devadatta appears and enjoys. Then another person appears and enjoys. No one gets to enjoy to his satisfaction. Are you getting? If he wants to enjoy somebody else's wife, but he can't enjoy for long, when that woman's husband comes to know that he will, out of fear of beatings by others, that woman's husband, he will leave that girl and go away somewhere else. And later on, somebody else will enjoy the same woman. After some time, after out of the fear of the husband, he will go away. Somebody else will come and enjoy that woman. No one can enjoy continuously for a long time somebody else's property. That is understanding. If it is not belong to you, you cannot enjoy it continuously. There is always fear factor. So somebody else's property is kept enjoyed by somebody else, somebody else, somebody else. It keeps moving on. It is not permanent property of one's. So like that is understanding. Unable to counteract the conditions of suffering arising from body, mind, and other beings, cold and wind, he becomes depressed by severe anxieties. Same thing. Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidevika kleshas. Very difficult to control. Sometimes whatever he transacts during business or whatever small amount he takes from others creates enmity because of the tendency to cheat for wealth. When we take from others saying that I'll give you back tomorrow. If we give back tomorrow, everything is nice. Otherwise, there is fight. There is a misunderstanding. There is constant enmity between them. Money creates enmity between brothers also. Money creates enmity between close friends also. They're too dangerous. Because Kali is situated on the money. Wherever money is there, Kali is there. Kali creates dissension among friends and relatives. That's why we should never take money from the friends and relatives. If we take, we should pay back immediately. We should not prolong. That will destroy the relationship. Whatever small amount one transacts during business or by taking even 20 cowries from others create enmity. If it is not paid back, it will create enmity. That is the problem with money. Money, because money means Kali. On that path, there are misfortunes such as happiness, distress, attachment, hatred, fear, pride, inattention, insanity, lamentation, illusion, greed, dissatisfaction, envy, dishonor, hunger, thirst, anxiety, disease, birth, old age, and death. In samsara, we need to go through all these misfortune situations. We are not spared. There is happiness, distress, attachment, hatred, fear, pride, inattention, insanity, lamentation, illusion, greed, dissatisfaction, envy, dishonor, hunting, hunger, thirst, anxiety, disease, birth, old age, and disease. Everything is negative only. Why happiness is there?
सबको एक ही चाहिए लेकिन बाकी कोई सोचता नहीं.
This verse explains the words wandering on the path. He almost dies because of the great difficulties, loss of wealth, sickness he encounters. So in samsara, we get all these difficult problems, which does not allow us to remain happy for a long time. Sometimes embraced by the creeper-like arms of a woman who is Maya herself, he loses discrimination and knowledge, and with heart absorbed in building a house for her pleasure. Okay? शादी के बाद घर बनाना पड़ेगा. That is rule. Wife will not leave otherwise. His heart becomes stolen by the words, glances, and actions of the small children, sons and daughters, and the son's wife, who are all under his wife's shelter. Uncontrolled in mind, he hurls himself into the greatest insurmountable darkness. Atmajaya Sutagara Pashu Dravina Bandhushu Rajye Chavikale Nityam Virudam Mamatam Jahau. They are all like deep rooted bush, very difficult to uproot. Who Atma, their body, Jaya, wife, Suta, children, Agara, home, Atma Jaya, Suta, Agara, Pashu, vehicles, Dravina, wealth, Bandhushu, relatives, Rajya, occupation, livelihood. Taking shelter of the creepers means he is embraced by a woman who is none other than the Lord's Maya. Basically, woman means wife. In this state, he loses discrimination and knowledge. His mind becomes absorbed in building a house for the enjoyment with his wife. Beautiful घर चाहिए city में. His heart is stolen away by the words, actions, and glance of the daughters and sons, and the sons' wives under the wife's shelter. Daughter, son, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, grandchildren, granddaughter, grandson. So like that, what's life goes in that. Sometimes afraid of the chakra of the Supreme Lord, that means Kala Chakra, the time, passing time, which represents time from the smallest unit up to the lifespan of Brahma, and which turns quickly through all the ages of life, destroying the lives of all beings from Brahma to grass, who are absorbed in their material affairs. The Jiva does not respect the Lord of sacrifice, who hold the chakra, but instead accepts impostors, devoid of proper conduct, who are like the herons, vultures, and cranes as the object of worship. Instead of taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, who hold the Kala Chakra as Sudarshan Chakra in his hand, some the people in this material world take shelter of so-called gurus, who are like the herons, vultures, and cranes. The crane seems to be like a muni, but when the big fish comes, it will feast on. So he appears to be great soul. When somebody surrenders, exploit that person. So like that. This verse explains the sentence. Being afraid of the groups of lions in the forest, he makes friends with cranes, herons, and vultures. In fear of Ankara, in fear of the Kalachakra, he accepts the impostors as worshipable along with their imaginary scriptures. Sanketyena. They say that we are right propounders of Sanatana Dharma. So like that. The chakra is characterized prominently by time, from the smallest fraction of time, Paramanu time, to the lifespan of Lord Brahma, Paramahanu time. Remember, 3rd canto 11th chapter, Paramanu time to Paramahan time. The chakra is the very form of time. It quickly destroys the living beings from Brahma to grass by its turning with the passing of age from youth to old age. Abrahma Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna. So in that way. They do not notice this. The chakra destroys the life of all living beings. The chakra is vigilant. Arya Somaya Parithat means they are devoid of proper behavior. So it's like that. When the person is greatly cheated by the impostors who cheat themselves, he settles among the Brahmanas. Having cheated by the impostors, he goes to the Brahmanas. But he has no taste for their way of worshipping the Lord of sacrifice by performance of rituals, such as taking the Brahmana sacred thread according to Shruti and Smriti. He then joins the Shudras. In that group, he performs what is forbidden in the scriptures, such as forbidden sexual union, simply supporting a family like the apes. Brahmanic life is full of austerities. He does not want to follow so many rules and regulations. When somebody comes to us, when we say that no tea, coffee, no intoxication, no illicit sex, people say, what is this? Get lost. Like that. But for outside people, life means enjoyment. Enjoyment means women, wine. Wine means drinking. Wine, women, and yeah, meat eating. So these are the enjoyment things. In ISKCON, these things are forbidden. So they say no to ISKCON. So in that way. The imposters cheat themselves since they accept a path of their own imagination. One who follows them is cheated more. On some pretext of offense, they kick him out of their group after taking all his money. The imposters, initially they appear to be like great sadhus, great meditators. When somebody surrenders, they tell, give me money, give me money. They take all the money and kick him out. Nigama Acharya Asuddhita means performing what are listed as impure actions in the scriptures. Mithuni Bhava means marriage by paying a price for a widow or a rejected wife of another. So it's like that. So giving up the Brahmanas who teach us the strict austere life, unable to follow that, they take shelter of the sense gratifiers, where they only perform sinful activities. So Mithuni Bhava means marriage by paying a price for a widow or rejected wife of others. They are only interested in enjoying women. So in that way. In the company of those Shudras, without the restriction of rules, independently, with miserly intelligence, forgetting that death will come, he enjoys through material activities while looking at the faces of other similar people. Hey, this fellow is also enjoying, he is also enjoying, he is also enjoying, let me also enjoy, no problem, no issue. Everyone is enjoying, I am also enjoying. It is a normal life. Why to feel it to be sinful activity? There is no need to worry about I am doing something wrong like that. Because everyone is doing same thing only. So this verse is explaining he senses joyful because of the pleasure arising from them, gazing at their faces. He forgets about death. So Niravarodha means not restricted by the rules of Dharma. Nir avarodha. Forgetting the time of death, he enjoys sinful activities. Similarly, sometimes he enjoys in houses which give material pleasure and which are like the trees, just as the monkey, affectionate to son and wife, as a festival of sex enjoyment in the trees. So, two monkeys to come together and have sexual enjoyment with a desire to have a child. So, like that. Enjoying in the trees. Ramsyan means enjoying. Vyavaya Kshanaha means festival of enjoyment with women. On the path, he is restricted to sinful acts, and out of fear of death, he falls into ignorance, which is like a mountain cave. When one is continuously going on enjoying one woman after other woman, at one point of time, one falls into a mountain cave, like falling sick, etc. Out of fear of death in ignorance, he is confined to performing sinful acts to prevent serious illness. In this way, he is absorbed in himself. So it's like that. So basically, out of fear of death in ignorance, he is confined to performing sinful acts to prevent serious illness. In this way, he is absorbed in himself.
Confined मतलब His company performance impact to prevent serious illness.
Hmm.
मतलब वो he does not do simple activities out of fear or death.
He does initially, then he becomes fearful. If I do more, I'll get AIDS or something like that. He does not extend his sinful arena long. He only engages in practice limited people. He does not go far. If I go here and there, I get diseases. Out of fear of that, he does sin, but in a close proximity only. He does not go here and there everywhere and do sinful activities. So like that. Because in the previous verse is that we will have the festival of sex enjoyment in the trees. There is one male monkey, 10 female monkeys. The male monkey going one monkey, one female monkey to other female monkey, like they're enjoying sex one after the other, one after the other. That will lead to incurable diseases. Out of fear of that disease will come, then I will die. I want to live long and enjoy more. So I will not go here and there. I will enjoy only at one place. Confined means restricted enjoyment. Sometimes being unable to cope with the unlimited suffering caused by the body, mind, and natural calamities, such as cold and wind. What's happening now? He becomes depressed because of the unending desire for sense gratification. So sense gratification करने का इच्छा है, but outside weather is not cooperating. Still one goes through the difficulties and gets and have sense gratification. So like that. Sometimes in mutual transactions, he obtains a little wealth by cheating. By cheating others, one gets wealth. But that does not lead to more happiness. By cheating others, whatever wealth one gains and with that one enjoys, one has to pay back with interest afterwards. Sometimes lacking wealth and without bed or chair, determined to attain what he desires but cannot attain, he encounters disrespect from others. Wealth nahi, but he wants to have everything like others have. And he keeps on cheating one after the other. Give me some wealth, I will give you back. So when he cheats others, they will not remain quiet. They keep criticizing this person. So in that way. Divide of wealth without bed, chair, house, and amusement. He sometimes begs from others. He is determined to take the wealth that he desires. एने प्रकार है ना उनका उनके पास जो भी है वो मुझे चाहिए. So like that. Having increased enmity with others because of transactions for money. Having increased enmity with others because of transactions for money, he marries according to his previous karmas and then gives up the marriage. So he thinks that there are a lot of borrowed money. I need to clear off all the money. So let me marry, I'll get dowry and clear off all the money. And such kind of marriage does not last long. That wife will go away. And this fellow using all the money only clearing the debts. So now will he maintain me? She will go away. On the path of samsara, one is afflicted by various obstacles and sufferings. Giving up the persons who have encountered disaster and death, and accepting those who are born, lamenting, becoming bewildered, fearing, quarreling, crying, rejoicing, singing, being bound up by them, devoid of association with great devotees like you, your good souls. One does not escape samsara. The wise say that the method of crossing over material existence is the Supreme Lord from whom the material existence of the Jiva has arisen. The samsara has come by the Supreme Lord because Supreme Lord only created the material world. He only can deliver us from this material world. Swabhrutya samsara taro kutaram. When Devahuti approaches Lord Kapila, she says that, my dear Lord, a samsara aapka hi hai. Because of your Maya, I am bewildered. I did not take association of my husband seriously. It is you have created samsara, you have created Maya, it is your responsibility to destroy that samsara. And he says that, Swabrutya samsara taro kutaram. You are the best axe to cut the samsara of your own devotees. She says that, my dear Lord, you are the best suitable axe to cut the tree of samsara for your devotees. Swabrutya samsara taru kutaram. Cutting. The cutter. Kutara means cutter. This verse explains the sentence, absorbed in the path of ignorance, a person wanders about and does not understand anything in the right perspective. Apanna vipanna means receiving disaster and dying. Only in the association of devotees can one cross over the difficulties of the mental existence. The wise point out that the Supreme Lord, Tam Prapadde, Sharanam Tam Prapadde, from whom the material existence has arisen, Prastha Purani, is the only way to cross over the material existence. Association with devotees is the cause of that. The Daiviyesha Mama Maya, what is that? Daiviyesha Gunamaya Mama Maya Durataya Mam Eva Prapadante. Only solution is Mamaya Prapadante. There is no other solution. Otherwise, Punarapi Jananam, Jatare Shayani, Pai Murari. Crossing the middle existence is attained by Bhakti Yoga and not by materialistic persons. Those who have given up violence to all beings, who are peaceful, who have controlled their minds, attain freedom from samsara. Who can take shelter of the Supreme Lord? Those who have given up violence to all other beings. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. Those who become peaceful, those who do not have any material hankerings. Na kankshati, na sochati. And who have controlled their minds and senses. Well, mind and senses always demanding something. Nivrutta tarshe rupagiyamana. Such kind of people only attain freedom from samsara. The cause of not returning to the material world is described here. Samava gachanti means they attain. What they attain? They attain spiritual world only if they are able to do all these things. Those who become free from violence to other beings, that means no meat eating, who are peaceful, no intoxication, who have controlled their mind and senses, no gambling, etc. etc. Even though a person may be a conqueror of all directions, a performer of great sacrifices, or a sage among kings, Rajarshi, lying on the battlefield on the soil which created enmity with others by thinking, this earth is mine. He gives up the earth and dies. When two kings come together for a battle, saying that this kingdom is mine, this kingdom is mine, what is the ultimate result? Both are killed. They fall on the same land only, which they previously say this is mine. So, like that. This verse explains warriors who have conquered even the elephants of the directions, the Diggajas, thinking in terms of mind, surrendered by the enemies, all fall dead on the battlefield. They may conquer the elephants, but when 10 enemies come together, will they survive themselves? No. Even though they conquer all directions, they lie on the earth, which created enmity by thinking it is mine. And giving up that earth, they die. They die like a orphan. So like that. Taking support of the wine of karma, free of danger and hellish existence, even if he attains Swarga, he remains on the path of samsara and again enters material existence. Even a person giving up Naraka goes to Swarga, but how long one will stay in Swarga? In due course of time, one will fall down after enjoyment is over. Shine Punne Martelokam Vishanti. Holding onto a creeper afraid of an elephant, he remains dangling there. That means, so dangling there and enjoying the honey falling down. That is like the Swarga enjoyment. One day that creeper will break, he will fall down. So even though one goes to Swarga and enjoys unlimitedly, but it does not last long. He has to come back. Even though one may attain Swarga, one still tread the path of samsara. That is not the ultimate goal. So this is the last verse which explains the meaning of the forest of material enjoyment. The previous chapter is re-explained in this chapter with the elaborate meaning. And at the end, there are 5 shlokas which give the conclusion of this entire section. These are spoken by our Sukadeva Goswami. आर्षभ्यस्येह राजर्षेर् मनसापि महात्मना नानुवर्त्मार्हति नृपो मक्षिकेव गुरुत्मत्ता. The sages glorify the actions of Bharata as follows. Like a fly imitating Garuda, a king should not imitate the activities of the son of Rishabdeva, the saintly king and great devotee, even in his mind. What Bharata leading a life of Brahmana Bharata, it cannot be imitated. His way of lifestyle is like the Garuda, and we are like the Makshika, and we cannot imitate him like that. The story of Bharata is concluded with the glorification by ancient sages. The wise sing of Bharata's activities. One cannot imitate the path of the son of Rishabha, the saint among kings, Rajarshi, since one is unqualified. One cannot even desire in the mind what to speak of performing the actions of Bharata Maharaj. His activities are like that of a Garuda. What kind of activities are like that of Garuda? What kind of activities make him to be compared to be Garuda? Yo duschadandara sutan suhrud rajyam rudispruha jehau yuva malavad uttama shlokalalasa. Bharata, who longed to serve the Lord, gave up his wife, sons, friends, and kingdom as if they were stool, malavat, though they were touching to the heart and thus difficult to give up at a young age. It is said that Bharata gave up his wife and children and kingdom at a very young age and went to forest. This verse describes Bharata's experience of prema. The wife and sons were difficult to give up because they were attracted to the heart. He gave up his wife and his sons who were still young, whereas Privrata gave up his kingdom when he was old. He gave up everything as if it were stool. Giving up stool gives bliss, and not giving it up gives pain. Constipation means painful situation. Remembering it makes one spit in disgust. This shows his distinctive character. After giving up stool, still one is attached to that. So Bharat Maharaj giving up his wife, children, and kingdom is like that. He did not show any interest in them. That is shown in Brahmana Bharata's condition. Chakravarti Pad. The reason was that he longed for the Lord who had the highest fame in terms of form, qualities, pastimes, sweetness, and powers. He longed to see the Lord. Since he had so much attachment to Supreme Lord, he was not interested in the kingdom, wife, and children. So like that. Persons who show detachment by all their senses but are not absorbed in the Lord do not reject wife and sons like stool. This shows Bharata's topmost status as a great devotee. Other people also might be having detachment from the facilities, but not from wife and children, because they don't have attachment to Lord. Only detachment is not enough. There should be attachment to Supreme Lord. Then only the detachment becomes stronger. Otherwise, no. Finally, it says that the king did not desire the earth, sons, relatives, objects, wife, all difficult to give up, and did not desire his wealth, which was desired by the Devatas, and which cast glances asking to be engaged in his service. That is appropriate for even liberation is insignificant for the great devotees whose minds are attracted to serving the Supreme Lord. Because Bharat Maharaj was the monarch of the entire Bhumandala. It is a great kingdom. Even the Devatas are looking for that. But he has given it up very easily, like a stool, which is very difficult to do. He did it very easily. So this person, liberation can stand at his doorsteps, but he does not want liberation. He wants prema for the Supreme Lord. That is the greatness of Bharat Maharaj. In joy, the same meaning is repeated to make it clear. He did not desire wealth. This makes his followers glance at wealth while thinking, Bharata should have such mercy on her. Bharata should have such mercy on her. Sadaya Avalokam. This is the meaning given by Srila Sridhar Swami.
मतलब wealth.
Her means wealth, the dhana, dhanarashi. Her it can refer to wealth, which, looking at Bharata with pity, says, Bharata should not accept pains of the body arising from your detachment. He should remain in his house, pampered by me. The wealth is saying when he's detaching and going to forest, the wealth is saying that, so my dear Bharata, why are you going to forest and troubling your body by austerities? Instead, stay home and pamper your body by enjoying by facilities provided by me. So like that the wealth says. Abhava, even liberation was insignificant. That is also given up. Even he does not want liberation. He only want Krishna Prema. That is the greatness of Bharat Maharaj. Then says that I offer respects to the personification of sacrifice, the master of Dharma, who is skillful in the rules of sacrifice, to the personification of yoga, to the head of Sankhya, to the Lord of Prakriti, to Lord Narayana, to Hari. Wanting to give up his dear body, he chanted loudly this prayer. So this is the prayer of Bharat Maharaj when he was dear. When Bharat Maharaj was dear, he was chanting this prayer again and again. What is the prayer? I offer respects to the personification of sacrifice. Yajnaya, to the master of Dharma, Dharmapataye, who is skillful in the rules of sacrifice, Vidhi Nirupaya, to the personification of yoga, Yogaya, to the head of Sankhya, Sankhya Shirasa, Shankha Sirase, to the Lord of Prakriti, Prakrutishwaraya, to the Lord Narayana, Narayanaya, to Lord Hari, Haraye Namayati, Udaram. The first three lines are the prayer chanted by the deer when he is about to give up the body. Because as Brahmana as Bharata who went to forest as Vanaprastha, he forgot to perform his bhakti. But as deer, he was very serious and very sincere in performing bhakti. And this was the prayer it was continuously chanting.
All the different words which he was using, are they referring to the same one person, Narayana and Hari?
The one Lord in different functions, in different activities that he does. In 3 lines, successively, karma, jnana, and bhakti are glorified for having greater and greater excellence. I offer respect to the Lord who is expert at the rules of sacrifice within Nirupaya. Yajna, Dharma within Nirupaya. All these 3 connected to Nishkama Karma Yoga. Yoga, Sankhya Shirashe Prakrutishvara connected to Jnana and Ashtanga Yoga. Narayana Hari connected to Bhakti. Bhakti. Karma, Jnana and Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti. It's like that. While describing to give up, while desiring to give up his dear body, not at the time of death, he chanted the above mantra. Since the Lord would make him take birth again to perfect his bhakti. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalod. So like that. Finally, Sukadeva Goswami says, anyone who hears, relates, or glorifies this narration of the saintly King Bharata, whose pure qualities and actions are worshipped by the great devotees, a story which yields auspiciousness, long life, wealth, fame, heaven, and liberation, achieves all blessings spontaneously without depending on anything else. Basically, by hearing Bharata Maharaj's story, by implementing the qualities of Bharata Maharaj, one attains what Bharata Maharaj attained. It's like that. Bharata's pure qualities and pure actions are worshipped in the Bhagavatam or by the devotees because his activities are highly devotional activities. Easily, spontaneously, all things described are attained. So, it is like that. This is the falashruti of hearing Bharata Maharaja's pastimes, which is for long chapters. Chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 8 chapters talks about Bharata Maharaj. Falashruti is also accordingly. Thank you very much. निरंतरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की